budget, reduce budget, the idea becomes, a Frankenstein idea, but it's always a, it's like a ping pong. Because they see you as a vendor. Yes, we're partners, we go out, we get drunk sometimes, and it's fun and so on, but you're a vendor at the end of the day. I'm paying you money to give me great ideas. What this has done, unintentionally by the way, when we started the SWOT practice in social media back in Ogilvy, it seemed logical back then to give the practice its proper fair input and investment to try and get these ideas and to get amazing ideas. What it actually created is, once we broke these mentions into, oh, this is a strength because they're praising you, let's put it in this bucket. This is a weakness, they're dissing you, let's put it in this bucket. Regardless, right or true or wrong, misinformed, let's just put it there. And then the wishful things that they say, like, don't you love it, dad tax, whatever, these types of things, let's put it in the opportunities. And then threats can be general environment threats, okay? Is there a risk in this message? Is there a chance that people will misunderstand it or think it's a racial thing or whatever and so on? We just list them there because we need to have them. And then we take that and we go to the client and we present it as is, okay? And the first thing that I say in all of these sessions is, and we're gonna have one for Motorola soon here, is, by the way, we are idea agnostic. We have no preference or lineation towards any of these ideas. We're merely carrying over the customer's or the consumer's point of view. These are actual tweets, actual Facebook posts, actual blog posts, and we actually have screenshots of some of the most prominent ones that make a really screaming statement. This is them. Blame the customer, don't blame me. Don't hate me, I'm the messenger. We're just following a methodology to try and filter that out and show you, this is what people love about you, this is what they love about your competition, this is what they hate about your competition, and these are opportunities that either they've spilled out, which is great, or we found through a white space and said, you know what, if you manage this with this and do this, nobody's doing this, maybe you should think about it this way. What happens is, the ping pong, sorry, I'm going to borrow the chair for me there. So this is the relationship, okay? And let's say we post, sorry, I'm going to screw your camera angle. And we post, let's say, the SWOT results here on this wall, and I'm the client. This is the agency guy who's trying to sell me the idea. This is literally what they do. By the end of the meeting, everyone is on one side. There's no more ping pong. Because both are facing the same enemy, which is the consumer, which is what marketers, you should be in a partnership with the client. They shouldn't challenge your idea. Don't you love it when you work with a client that consistently challenges every idea? If you know more about advertising than we do, why did you hire us? So it forces like a kind of tension resolve that, hey, I am not your problem. This is not my idea. I didn't write this tweet. I didn't retweet it 1,000 times, okay? This person did it, and this is why it resonated, and this is why you should listen to it. I swear to God, in every meeting, by the end of the meeting, we're all one team, on one side. And we're facing this scary thing. And then what is even better, if you put it through, and you actually have a campaign that makes some sense, you transform yourself from a vendor into a thought leader, a true partner that cares about the brand and has gone through the effort to truly understand the consumer in a way that some of them who have worked on the brand for 10 years do not understand. And that's when you start getting those SOWs signed. Because then they do not challenge you, because they know you clearly have a keen passion to making things right for the consumer. You're the voice of the consumer that I can trust, I can call up. They call you up at 2 a.m., which is sort of the con of this fun thing. But they trust you on what do you think we should do. That's the brief that you will be getting. So it truly, truly transforms the relationship, and it works. So once you do, and this is why we call it co-create, once you've gone through the co-create session, guess what? All the ideas that come out of it, which are a natural flow of consumer sentiment and primitive and are relevant to what needs to happen, you have sign-off. Because they took part in understanding where the idea came from. They actually helped in sorting out the strengths, weaknesses. They started getting excited in the room, and you know what? We have a content pool of da-da-da-da. Why don't we start publishing this way? And they start coming up with the idea because you need their stakeholder point of view as well. And then by the end of this session, you have all agreed on where you need to be, platform, what you need to talk about, content, and who you need to engage in terms of influencers, because those were part of your listening report, and you have a plan. And in almost every case, we left the co-creative session, which is like 2 to 3 hours. They know way more about their customer. They know way more about us. And we have been tasked to, okay, present us with a plan for this. Now, definitely you get the negotiation, but they will appreciate the investment that needs to happen and the urgency in this specific direction because they built it. Okay? And you guarantee ownership because they were there when that idea took shape. So they own it. It's not you pitching to them. Ping pong is done. And then obviously, this is where you go back to them and say, okay, so for us to meet these objectives and opportunities in this session, this is the strategy, this is the marketing strategy, these are the tactics, this is the go-to-market plan, and then measure how you go and then refine the process and so on. So, from a setting up parameters, so this is more the boring, and this is a quick couple of slides. This is Radiant 6 basically. What you need to know is, you name a topic profile name, and by the way, I'm not married to Radiant 6, I've used it the most because of reasons I'm convinced about, but there's Sysmos, there are many other tools. But you can listen to languages, you can listen to time frames, you can listen to regions, you can specifically say media platforms that you want to focus on, you can listen to specific people, or media outlets, which is influencers, so source filters. If you knew, for example, that the Globe and Mail is saying something bad about this brand because of this issue or this incident, you can specifically zone in on all the Twitter accounts for the Globe and Mail on their website to be able to only extract posts from those people. And then you need to create the topics. What are you listening to? So what keywords describe a general industry? Travel, instant coffee, so on. And the reason we listen to an industry level at first is to try and understand what's the general theme of the industry and then what's your share of conversation vis-a-vis the industry. So instant coffee, for example, I would love to know how many people talk about Vea, Starbucks Vea, which used to be my client last year, versus instant coffee, versus Nescafe, versus Dolce Gusto, Mother Parker, da-da-da-da. And then which of your brand do you want to listen to? Okay? Always try, one of the biggest mistakes we make in listening is we try to achieve everything, and we end up achieving nothing. Okay? Most of the listening exercises that your clients brief you on are actually 5 exercises, not 1. Always deduct and reduce and make it smaller. So is it, with Motorola for example, is it mobile? Is it telco? Is it wired? Is it government communications? What is it? Mobile. Okay, within mobile, what are the specific brands and products do you want to listen to? Okay, you can't say there are 55 different products on it. No, what are the 3? Let's segment it. And think about it this way. Your clients have different brand managers for these different products, or a group of products. Break it down this way. This is the easiest way, because that's a P&L for you. Okay, what's your P&L? Okay, Razer, this thing, this thing, this thing. Perfect. Let's do an exercise for you. Okay, listen to those 3, and your competitors might be this brand of BlackBerry, this brand of iPhone, this brand of whatever, this brand of whatever. Are there specific products or services you want us to focus on? What competitive brands do you want us to listen to, which we covered? And then are there specific competitive products or services? And then are there specific topics you want us to focus on? Is there a specific incident that has triggered you wanting to listen to this? Or a campaign, or a seasonality, or an iOS, Android conversation that is happening? Like any guidance that you can get from the client. And the reason we fill the questionnaire before listening, which is extremely important, is so that the client knows this is the exercise. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this. I will not go back to you and get people saying, have you thought about, and you will get this every time, have you listened to this thing? And you're like, no, nobody's said anything about it. Yeah, like, no, absolutely, this is very relevant to us. Oh, it's not in the questionnaire. So you tie them down to a specific range, specific width of the net that you want to cast. And then something more of on the operational level, which your more senior management, revenue, CFO people would love. This is a conversation that they're more involved in. So once we've decided we have a listening practice, it is actually feeding our strategy team. It is getting us to get really good ideas that are striking a high note with our customers and making us win. We're winning the client relationship battle, we're transforming ourselves from a vendor to a thought leader, all that win-win-win. How can we productize it? Okay, how can we create a product out of listening so that it's not an exercise we do out of our own goodwill. We can actually sell it to clients and clients appreciate that they need it. There are 3 types of reports that we've been able to productize over the past, like we, meaning agencies, have been able to productize over the past years. There's the initial social discovery report, which is the, make me smart report. You're going to a meeting and you know that the client is going to brief you about launching a new wine, that bottle that looks nice and whatever. How can I listen and say how many people are talking about red versus white? When people talk about it, do they use premium as a keyword? Who's talking about it? Is it the younger, sort of 20, 30? Is there any sign that wine is a representation of your sophistication for a young woman? How can we actually measure that and say, do they talk about it as a statement? I'm worth nothing before my glass of Fulonari. Or like, do they carry the brand? Is it something that represents them? So a lot of smart questions that we can literally in 10 minutes, through listening quickly to keywords, know how many people are talking about it, who are the most influential people, and there are tips and tricks in all these tools that can get you the information that you think you need 2 hours in 10 minutes, literally. And then go into the meeting and be able to say, yeah, but did you know that X% of Canadian young women actually talk about this within this tone? Or did you know that actually Pinterest has a whole huge amount of wine art, like just taking beautiful pictures of wine bottles? Did you know? So things that are like a bit of key insights that can make the conversation flow better. So this is the most initial one. And here, like literally, honestly, 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you know what you were looking for. And then incident campaign report, if, excuse my French, shit hits the fan for some reason with one of the brands, there's an incident, there was a wrong statement, whatever, you do and you just measure and see if people are talking about this, is it negative, positive, and how did this impact potentially the brand. So before this thing happened, X amount of people were talking about you. After this happened, why people talked about you, and then your sentiment shifted from 70% positive to 40% positive. So just a few things just to give an idea on the size and magnitude of an incident. Social SWOT is what I told you about before, and this is the most time-consuming, but at the same time worthwhile part of the report. And I've worked with brands who have defined a 3-year strategy, who went in saying, let's work on a campaign. We went out with a commitment of a 3-year strategy. Okay, so this is the most lucrative product that people sell today in terms of truly connecting with the brand, informing not only your social and digital marketing, but your entire brand marketing presence and the integration of TV, print, because consumers are consumers. They don't see you as a channel, by the way. Rather, consumers do not see channels. When we turn off marketer, go back home, we don't see channels. We don't think, oh, TV, I need to press a button now because I'm watching this brand from a TV perspective. It's an experience. Billboard, TV, print, radio, Virgin, this, social, my friend recommended this person posted this. It's an experience. So it's a flow. So media has been integrated in their head forever. We're the ones who are struggling with integration. It's an experience for them. So I think I will stop that reading. So that was basically what I wanted to take you through. Again, I think it was mostly focused on not the idea of planting the thought, but inspiring curiosity in finding your own thinking pattern versus this is what you should do. And I hope you find it useful.
Time for questions, if anyone has questions. I have a question.